Life Sentences by John Edgar Wideman. Voices, words, immersed in a sea of time. No way in or out. Death sentence, life sentence, no time, all time, immersed in a sea of time. He struggles to believe he inhabits an unknowable world, a world that is an unpredictable work in progress, understands he must work hard, minute by minute, day after day, to sustain that belief. Stay in the struggle even though he's sure he will never be able to cite unimpeachably reliable sources to support or verify conclusions he desires to believe about himself and his world. He knows he must strive, make daily, deadly serious efforts to explain to himself, to convince himself, if nobody else, that he has not reached an unchanging dead end. The prison is constructed to make him accept that he is lost and never to be found. Why does he still struggle? Believe in phantoms, believe in freedom, believe in make-believe. Figure it out, he urges himself, but conclusions are guesses, not guides. Would he ever reach a place, even if only for a moment, that might make sense of the unreasonable, unfathomable, confining space in which he finds himself? Is a separate, liberating place attainable? How would he know what to do next if he arrived there? Are the contradictions and chaos of anyone's life resolvable? Why should they be? His conclusions start and lead nowhere, except where he's stranded already. Dog life of prison. Prison. Here in his pitiful mini Gaza where reasoning and logic struggle futilely. Nowhere. More bodies every day. No possibility of negotiation. No chance the warring parties will set aside differences and discover peace. Chaos reigns, a churning vastness beyond immense, a void beyond empty, beyond filling, no progress therein, no matter what he thinks, wishes, or pretends. He listens sometimes anyway, wondering how his mother soothed him when he was a baby deathly scared and his mother knew something was there, presence frightening him terribly, though she could not see it, hear it, or touch it, no words for it, none she knew, and him just a baby, her trembling, scared baby boy, who she understood possessed no words yet, not even for his deepest terrors. She's humming as she slow dances him, and he wonders hard now, remembering and not remembering, as he attempts to make sense of no sense, going on about his business in the yard, the classroom, and blackboard where he teaches math, on the bed stiffer than stone as he shuts his eyes or opens them, before he ends or gets on with business of his day, trying to believe anyway he has business to get on with or to finish, reaching for positive conclusions, sticking them into chaos, stuck with them, stuck with the language he speaks and writes as he works to organize memories, render memory as words and memories trying to capture time, unveil time's secrets, but for him they create only a fragile present tense. Pain that is not a word throbs in his shoulders, awakens him each morning. Some mornings it shivers down one arm or the other, and he makes a fist, flexes and unflexes his fingers, shaking them as if they have vents in their tips to drain hurt. He tries to console himself. He's getting old, isn't he? So why not be grateful at his age, grateful to receive any sort of wake-up call? Her show begins each morning as she opens those beautiful eyes, or more likely, in this dream of hers, he's fashioning to steal a glimpse of her, or her show, or her dream. It begins before her beautiful eyes open. Her show on the screen, behind her shut eyelids where sleep fades lazily, reluctantly, sleep not reigning exactly, yet not deposed either. By what's coming next, and next, whenever, wherever, however the show she will watch begins at a particular moment like this moment on this particular morning. The man lies on a concrete shelf of bed, half asleep himself, trying to imagine her life, her distant life. A moment in her life as separate from him as awake is separate from sleep, as night separate from day, as black separate from white, as yes from no. Her life that drifts so far from his and abandons him here at the edge of extinction while she chooses from among many, many mysterious choices. But on each occasion, again and again, whether her choice is conscious or unconscious, on purpose or not, when finally her choice, her urge to open her eyes prevails, He's afraid that her will, her choice, her eyes will have already marginalized him. Her beautiful eyes, seeking, seeing, concentrating on a show, a life from which he has disappeared. Her show projected on a miniature screen like the screen on the phone on the night table beside her bed. She will soon reach out for it, lift, activate, begin to study. The privilege of seeing the beautiful space inside you is enough to keep me forever in love with you. Though I also know that you are inside a space not beautiful. He said those words once to the woman, and believed they might keep her. Believed he believed the words. Though maybe she didn't. Though they absolutely were true. Like the bag he needs to pack to return. When the man was a boy, the man had murdered another boy. The murdered boy's age, 16 when he died, and 16 the age of the man when he was a boy and killed another boy. 16 in age, the man who murdered a boy could not remember very well now, because every time he sits and tries to remember 16, his first thought is always that it had never happened. He'd never been a boy of 16 who killed a boy of 16. Why would he? Why would anyone do such a terrible thing? The man he was now asked himself. This other self he seemed to be today. This being who he is, a man close to 50 years old, lying awake or sitting on the concrete edge of his bed and wondering how, why. 16, a lost age. He recalls almost nothing about 16, except a dead boy's face in a bed in a dark room staring at him, asking why in the language of Dark's dead silence. They make love to each other, back and forth, until both are exhausted. Some of the work he performs to excite her and excite himself is conscious. He intends to do this or do that, and graphic words for his intentions may guide him, express a notion of what his body desires to give or take from her body, from his body, except mostly he's far beyond performing work. Not conscious of words, because the back and forth connects, consumes, and frees both lovers. Frees them from words anybody's ever read or thought or carried around in their heads as something they might want to do to another person. Like certain words in his head, words he believed were directing him to do to her this or that thing in one particular way or another, but then all words dissolving, as he dissolves, surprises himself, as he becomes someone else, or something else altogether he's never possessed words for. No words, because what they are sharing reveals itself as simply, as unbelievably, undeniably what it is, a flow of revelations like those parts, those angles, those details of her naked body he had never noticed, never dreamed till back and forth shows them there, and there they are. As he looks at her as he never looked before and knows he will never see her again, nor will anyone else ever see her again precisely as she is at this moment, passing incalculably faster than seconds pass, and much more slowly, too, because there she is. She's absolutely real, not waiting to be discovered. She's there forever after and there forever before he would ever have believed possible. His discoveries of this and that about her body, real and unreal as his death will be when he discovers it, unreal and real. No conclusions follow from work he performs, no words when they make love together. The conclusion of the Board of Pardons and Parole is to keep you in prison to serve the remaining years of your life sentence. It will never conclude for us, announced the victim's father, speaking for all members of his family at a press conference. The idea of closure, of mercy, of forgiveness strike me almost as pathetic, almost as sick jokes mocking God's stern commandment to his chosen people. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. I sighed with relief and smiled, he says, when the Pardons Board refused the killer's plea for mercy. Where was mercy the night that monster ended my son's life? I hear that father's words of my father's fathers, again and again in this cell I am in, this cell in me of iron, stone, and steel, and no exit, and this eternal, immortal cell lifts and floats free as it must always be, free of itself, free of its small understandings of itself, free of what and where I seem for an instant to be, trapped in this moment that seems to hold me, until instantly I conclude I am not there inside it. Though the guard passing by to check on me sees a cell that tells him I am exactly where I should be, he sees my cage full, not empty, and thus confirms his cell full too. occupied by the guard as his cell passes by mine, passing many, many other cells he sees and doesn't see, cells empty as his footsteps echoing against iron, stone, and steel that incarcerate and separate us, blind the guard's gaze. No family name for me, please, Dad. R.I.P. Ray. One name on my stone enough. If murderers get a stone in here, why add a surname or include a father's given names given to me at birth to identify me? Names to pin me down, recall crimes, convict me, bury me. My father told me he and my mother once upon a time climbed to the top of the Eiffel Tower, said the high view of Paris spreading over was quite a trip, but Dad preferred the boat ride down below on the Seine. Love boat, he smiled. Just enough of a smile for me to share, not envy, not be jealous of that boat ride's charm, of intimacies shared with a woman my mother, my father's smile recalls, recalling the river's steady pull, night cloaking them, electric lights illuminating elegant stacks of buildings that climb from black water edging both banks of the Seine. My father gliding along in the dark with my mother in another country when she was still alive and they still loved each other. My unfaithful father promised me, that people can find enough love sometimes to be happy together. In a cell you can watch the NBA games, tune your tiny TV to hoop, watch players in a box, a cage, players trapped within walls, fly back and forth, flying feet, bodies in the air. Watch when your raggedy TV works anyway. When you are permitted to watch, free to watch, to fly, float, score, win. What you see is what you get, we say to one another. To those beyond the walls, we say, "You ain't seen nothing yet." As if any conclusion, any point of view might assemble all the fragments, as if something broken can be broken again and again to fix it. Beth, her name the video announces, and she is white, naked as she phones and orders a pizza, decides to stay naked. A big surprise for the delivery guy when she opens her apartment door. Bigger surprise when she hands him a camcorder and invites him to film her posing on her bed. A sure enough show for the pizza guy, and the video of him videoing the pretty young woman's energetic, X-rated display of her intimate parts surely got the attention of the 5 or 6 inmates assigned to work in the prison laundry room, who gathered round to peek over the shoulder of a fellow inmate who allows them to watch the latest porn he's checking out on his mobile phone. One of those lucky inmates who could afford the sky-high price of a phone, the higher price to break rules and operate that piece of contraband inside prison walls. For a moment, one of the lucky ones is choosing to share, for a quick minute anyway, his good fortune that the others dream of and envy, often to the point of hating, even doing harm to those who exercise powers ordinary inmates understand no way they will ever manage to negotiate or buy or steal. The bunched-up group in the laundry room stares at the show, more or less silently, observed by full-frontal views of a naked woman's crotch between her spread-eagled legs, then views of her from behind as she couches on her knees to elevate and wiggle a firm, trim butt, and though not all of them exactly transfixed, some guys grunt, sigh, mutter, exclaim, wag their heads, a literally captive audience, except for the man who looks away from the brightly colored HD quality images streaming across the screen, a man whose eyes stray to deliver their attention elsewhere, an absence not lasting very long. He doesn't want to see too much, nor miss too much, nor arouse by his inattention too much attention from his fellow inmates. But no doubt, riding along where his eyes take him, the man travels an immeasurable instant to an impossibly distant place, but he re-enters the party in the laundry room and concludes he'll return the pretty young thing's naked smile. Wish her good luck.